Stay tuned for a meeting of the City of Calabasas.
Can you change your name to, because it says Alex?
You
know, I feel like Alex is a much bigger name, so I
And then we're waiting for a video to start, and then I'll formally start our meeting.
Besides the live TV and Zoom broadcast, the live stream of the meeting may be viewed online at cityofcalabasas.com/CTV live. If you want to provide public comment, press raise hand if you're using Zoom or *9 if you're joining by phone. Stay tuned for a meeting of the City of Calabasas.
Can you change your name to, because it says Alex?
You know, I feel like Alex is a much bigger name, so
within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. If the power or internet goes out lasting more than 15 minutes, or if there's some event that prevents the Commission from meeting or prevents you from providing public comment, then the meeting will be adjourned. Any items noticed as public hearings will be rescheduled to the next regular Commission meeting. Any other agenda items the Commission has not taken action on will be placed on a future agenda. Now, a meeting of the City of Calabasas Commission.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of May 3rd, 2022 for the City of Calabasas Environmental Commission. This meeting is being conducted utilizing teleconferencing consistent with Governor Newsom's order, and the live stream may be seen on the city's CTV Channel 3 or online. We will start with the call to order. I will call your name and please say present if you are here. J.C. Schillen?
Here.
Whitney Schwartz?
Here.
David Cohen?
Here.
Andy Schrader?
Here.
Zachary Rossoff?
Here.
Lila Guillory?
Here.
All right, welcome everyone. So we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Andy, since it's your first meeting, did you want to lead us in this?
Certainly. Do I stand?
We do all stand and they'll put the flag up.
Okay, please rise. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Andy. All right, the approval of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Whitney. Okay, I think you said it.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, so there we go. Thank you. So moved. And then let's make an approval of the meeting summary from the March 1st, 2022 meeting. I'll make a motion. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
See two.
Who seconded the motion? Just for the record, we need to have.
JC.
JC did, okay.
Mhm. And I guess we'll have one abstention because Andy wasn't here.
Abstain.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and 5. So moved. All right, moving on to our mission statement. Zachary said he would go ahead and read that for us.
Awesome, thank you. The mission of the Environmental Commission of the City of Calabasas is to advise the City Council regarding the stewardship of our environment as it affects the character of the community and quality of life of our residents. We strive to balance those elements that influence the degree to which our community sustains its social, economic, and physical environment while maintaining and enhancing our natural and cultural resources.
Thank you, Zachary. Okay, our oral communication and public comment. Is anyone here that would like to have some public comment? If so, please raise your hand.
I don't see any hands.
Okay, good. Moving on. So we'll start with our agenda now. Number 1, commissioner's comment. First of all, we really wanted to welcome Andy Schrader to our commission. Welcome.
Thank
if you want to give a little introduction on yourself, maybe that would be nice right now.
Sounds good. Thank you. And thank you all. I'm really honored and appreciative that Mayor Mauer appointed me to the commission. You know, if you're paying attention to the insane heat wave in India and Pakistan right now, not to mention our own rapidly worsening mega drought, it's probably one of the more important commissions for any city at this moment in time. So I'm happy to be here and glad to help.
Thank you so much. Now it's our open comment for commissioners. Anything you want to say? If anyone wants to talk about Earth Day or Arbor Day, now would be a great time to do that. I'll start. I'm very sad I missed Earth Day. I wish I could have been here for that. I know a lot of work went into that, so good job, you guys. And Arbor Day I went to, it was lovely. It's just a happy, fun event, so I'm really happy we put that on. Anyone else want to go? David?
Sure. First of all, welcome, Andy. Very happy to have you joining us. Excited about the Environmental Commission. I also am really excited that we've got 5 applications for the student rep position. I just want to extend my own personal appreciation to Zachary Rossoff for all the efforts he's put in over the years, and for whoever the 2 people that step in next. You've got big shoes to fill. So I encourage you all to touch base with Zachary and ask him, you know, his thoughts about how you can serve in the position as well as he did. I do want to thank staff, Alex and the rest of your team, for the wonderful Arbor Day and Earth Day events. I was able to attend both, and I thought they were both a lot of fun. They were both educational. They had a lot of community members, which is what I'm all about. And so congratulations and nice efforts there. JC, I want to thank you as well. I know that you were kind of the lone subcommittee member trying to get people to take care of the booths at Earth Day, and that was a thankless position. So I will give you a thank you, and appreciate all the efforts that you put in there. I'm very excited for the City of Calabasas and the City of Agoura for all the efforts on the wildlife crossing. Of course, Andy can certainly speak to that more than I can, since his picture is displayed prominently on the cover of the Acorn, along with the governor and I think Zelensky and pretty much every famous person in the world was there. So well done, Andy, and everyone else involved, and Alex, whoever, we know, all the staff people, I'm sure were involved as well. Finally, I just want to mention that there's been a lot of news about water restrictions, how we're in drought for, I think, the 3rd year, extreme drought for the 3rd year in a row. And it's been in the LA Times every single day. I sent an article to Alex that I'm hoping he can forward on to everyone as well. And I hope that this commission will be looking at taking a more active role in supporting the city council and encouraging all of our residents to be more active in planting native plants and in putting in drip systems, getting rid of lawns, and the like. I think we've got a lot of work ahead of us, so encouraged by all the articles, and everyone's gonna have to roll up their sleeves. So thank you again.
Anyone else? JC, go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to also welcome Andy to the commission, and looking forward to working with you. And a very heartfelt thank you to Zach for all his hard work. You are an impressive person, and I'm sure you will do very well beyond this. Earth Day was great. It definitely was not thankless. I actually thought that the way that the community seemed to take to the event was great. And the city did a lot of work to get it there. And I appreciated everybody who showed up and everybody who worked behind the scenes to make it happen. And hopefully even bigger and better next year. So, and I just wanted to comment that after the survey, the public survey on the city council's priorities for our section of their statement or their work plan. The largest so far was for the real property acquisition, but the second was for the developable water resilience plan. So I think that, as you said, David, I think that the community also sees that as a priority, and hopefully that will become something that we will see come across for us to work on. And that's it.
Just want to make a point that the city council is going to make the final decision on the strategic plans sometimes before the end of this fiscal year. So please look for the city council agenda and see if that item is up. You may want to join in and listen to the final selection of the 2 top priority projects.
Thanks, Alex.
Great idea, Alex. Okay, Whitney.
I just wanted to say, welcome, Andy. It's like having a celebrity on the commission. I'm so excited. And Earth Day was really beautiful, better than where it's been in the past years. Although that is a beautiful spot, it's a little too tucked away. So this was a really good new location, and there's great energy, and looking forward to next year.
Thank you, Whitney.
That's it. Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, great. So we have a presentation by Kevin Gaston, I see, and other people from Tree People are here as well. So welcome. Thank you all for coming and taking the time for this. So we will watch your presentation and then have a discussion at the end. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. I do not see a share screen option.
We will take care of that. Arvin
Okay.
will help you.
Wonderful.
Probably just take a few seconds.
Arvin, do you want to start the PowerPoint, or you want to provide a share option for Kevin?
Kevin should be able to share if you scroll down.
I see now.
Yeah, share screen and pick your PowerPoint.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for having us tonight. My name is Kevin Gaston. I'm the Deputy Director of Tree People Land Trust. Excited to share a little bit about our work in Calabasas and the region at large, and really hope that this leads to further collaboration with the city. So I thought it'd be good to provide a little bit of context before diving into the details here of Tree People's relationship with the city of Calabasas. And it really focuses sort of the physical anchor of this relationship is the site known as Headwaters Corner. So on the left side of the screen here, you can see the outline of the city, and highlighted in red is Headwaters Corner. Now, this is a 12-acre open space site. It's actually owned by the city, but managed by us for the public benefit. And just to provide a little extra context on that aerial image on the upper right-hand side, you can see the tennis courts of Calabasas High School. So we're kind of wedged right there between Calabasas High and Viewpoint School. Now, those of you more familiar with the site probably associated with an organization called Mountains Restoration Trust, or MRT. So you may be thinking, why is Tree People here talking about Headwaters? Well, I actually joined MRT back in 2015. And while we were extremely proud of the work that we did, we always felt that we could do more, do things better, both in terms of geographical extent, but also sharing our open space preservation with a much broader audience. So back in 2019, we entered into an affiliation with Tree People. So MRT still technically exists. We've just now rebranded as Tree People Land Trust. And the two organizations essentially function as one. We share staff and resources to create a much more holistic, more modern environmental organization. So I just wanted to share that history, kind of set the stage there. And I will now turn it over to my colleague, Mario, to talk about community, which is the center of all this.
Thank you, Kevin. I value the opportunity to have this space to talk to y'all about the work we're doing and our bright spots. And next slide, please, Kevin. And our bright spots are mostly disadvantaged communities in Southeast LA, Riverside, and the Northeast San Fernando Valley that are facing a myriad of different environmental impacts. Some of them are listed right here: urban heat island effect, low tree canopy percentages, and inadequate access to green spaces in their community. So, we here at Tree People have identified a few target areas and are deploying our resources in a hyper-specific and hyper-targeted fashion. Next slide, please. So that depicts a street corner in one of our bright spots. That's a street corner in Linwood, and it's pretty easy to see what we notice right off the bat. That's a low tree canopy percentage neighborhood. Next slide, please, Kevin. And the median tree canopy percentages in the neighborhoods that we're focused on, somewhere in the range of 10 to 12%. This particular block is in a neighborhood in Studio City, where Tree People is actually headquartered. And the median average in Studio City is closer to 25 to 27%. So it's a huge difference. And this is a depiction of a block that has a fully mature tree canopy. And, whether it's mental health benefits to scrubbing, the air of some of that pollution that, we're all breathing in every day, to increased oxygen. We're talking about a lot of benefits that these trees, when they become a fully mature tree canopy, provide to the neighborhoods that they cover. Next slide, please. So this is one of the tools that we use to identify tree canopy percentages in the Los Angeles County and Riverside County area. It's the California Environmental Screen, or the CalEnviro screen. And this is a really helpful and handy tool for us. And as you can see, my cursor is not controlling the screen, but you can kind of see where the tree canopy percentages are in that gray to light yellow area. That's a really low tree canopy percentage, ranging from the 0 to 15% range. The darker green areas indicate a tree canopy percentage that's above 50%. And we can see where the slant is geographically. I'm looking at Redondo Beach and Santa Monica and some of the communities on the west side with tree canopy percentages that are in some of those blocks are in the 50% plus range. And then we look at Southeast LA and that corridor, and we don't see a single block that is in that category. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned before, Studio City is on the right-hand side. Southeast LA, is on the left-hand side. And so we are working on projects that, Linwood is a community where we're planting 1,000 street trees. Paramount is another community where we'll be replicating a very similar project, distributing hundreds of fruit trees and planting 1,000 residential street trees in that community. So we're doing all that we can to change that image right there that we see before our eyes. But it takes time. Next slide, please. And so this is one of the things that we're doing to engage the community in the process of, we really want people to take ownership in the future of urban forestry management in their community. And the tree prioritization meetings, or tree summits, that we're hosting all throughout Los Angeles County are a key component, really the genesis moment before we engage in applying for a grant related to urban greening. We want to know what the community thinks. And, this is one of the tools that we've been able to deploy that has helped us gain, get that gauge of how the community feels about trees being planted in their neighborhood, in terms of where they want to see trees, why they want to see trees. And we have a survey associated with this tree summit. And I mentioned 2 communities that we actually initiated this process with before getting urban greening grants greenlit. And that's Linwood and Paramount. So we, spent a lot of time with those communities before applying for the resources to actually plant there. So we know that these meetings work. Next slide, please. So Tree People, it's in the name. So yes, we plant trees, not just in our mountain project areas in the Angeles and in the Santa Monicas, but we're doing a lot of urban greening projects, as I mentioned. And tree care and tree planting go hand in hand. And as we merge into the summer months, our focus in our urban greening areas is going to be caring for the trees that we put put into the ground during the fall, the winter, and the early spring. And, unless we care for these trees, they die, plain and simple. So as we engage communities, it's not from the approach or the vantage point of riding in on a white horse, trying to, some sort of savior complex. We really have to work hard to build relationships with community leaders so that, we as tree people can only do so much in terms of caring for the trees on our own. We need the help and the support and, really the dedication that comes from, community block captains that are taking it under their, really taking that ownership to ensure that these trees get watered during the summer months. We are doing a ton of tree care events in Southeast LA. 32 are on the calendar currently. We're also doing a lot of tree care events in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and in Riverside. So that is one way to engage with us, is to come on out and join us out there this summer to ensure that, trees have a high survivability rate. Next slide, please. I mentioned fruit tree distributions. Food insecurity is definitely a challenge for the community, our bright spot communities. And attached to many of our grant proposals is not just the the urban greening aspect of it, or some of the other environmental projects that we're working on, stormwater capture, etc. We're also dedicating some funds to distribute free fruit trees to community members that want one. And we provide a lot of detailed information on how to care for those trees. And I think it's a way to pour love back into the communities that we're working with. And one of my first memories with a tree is with my grandmother's lemon tree. So fruit trees matter. And so it's not just the parkway trees, it's the trees that get planted in those backyards or in those front yards that people have a beautiful connection to. And we're truly not just planting resilience, but we're creating memories. And hopefully these memories bestow that cycle of not just a connection with the trees, but empowers people with the knowledge on how to take care of them long term. Next slide. We're nothing without the partnerships that we establish. That right there is an image from one of our projects in Watts. It's the Watts Rising project. It's a collaborative that includes dozens and dozens of environmental infrastructure projects that are designed to improve Watts and really accelerate its future in terms of sustainability. It's looked at as we're hoping that this project is scaled out to other communities that have are facing a similar environmental challenges, similar socioeconomic challenges. So this collaborative is one of the partnerships that we work in. We can't do it alone. And our partners are everything. They show up for us and we show up for them. So we're really glad to be here this evening and hopefully to forge some more partnerships for the future. Next slide. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Yvonne, who's going to talk more about our mountain forestry work in the Santa Monicas.
So Kevin, next slide, please. So hi, everyone. I'm Yvonne. I am the Mountain Forestry Program Manager for Tree People in the Santa Monica Mountains. You've likely ran into me if you're ever out at either Paramount Ranch or Chesborough. I'm the guy out there planting all the trees with the big old Tree People truck and a bunch of volunteers. Our mountain forestry program, it focuses around engaging with the public, giving educational volunteer experiences, and really teaching people what reforestation is all about. Our mission is not only to reforest areas damaged by fires and other man-made issues, but to educate the public on the importance of doing so. So our programs are very much interpretive. We're all huge nature nerds. All of our coordinators love talking about what we're doing. So when you're out there with us, you really are getting a full experience of not just doing the work, but also learning about the area that you're in. And we work with local land managers to identify sites which require restoration, and then we secure funding to restore those sites. Right now, our program is small, and we are in the Santa Monica Mountains. We are at Chesborough and Paramount Ranch. So Paramount Ranch falls, of course, inside of City of Calabasas, but we're slowly looking to to continue to grow this program. I was just brought on in January. Before that, I was working with the National Park Service as their reforestation lead. And so now I'm looking to help the program grow with Tree People. Next slide, please, Kevin. Thanks a lot. So right now, the project I just mentioned is called the I5 Mitigation Project. So we received funds from Caltrans in order to reforest areas that were damaged by the Woolsey fire. So we planted approximately 2,400 trees at Chesborough and 1,200 trees at Paramount Ranch. Those trees are already in the ground, and we're currently in the process of taking care of those trees. So if you come out there to volunteer with us, what you'll be doing is doing some weeding, doing some watering, helping us survey and make sure that the trees are doing okay. We're going to be taking care of them for about 2 years, and then they'll be established and they'll be on their own to reforest areas that have been damaged both by grazing and by the Woolsey fire. We have planted in the ground is coast live oaks, valley oaks, scrub oaks, and black walnuts. The planting began in fall of 2020, and it continued through April 2021. Replacements were then added in fall of 2021 throughout the different zones. And as I mentioned, both sites bear severe burn scars from the Woolsey fire of 2018, which I'm sure you all remember. Next slide, please, Kevin. So as I mentioned, our program right now in the Santa Monica Mountains is small, but we're looking to continue to grow it. We're looking to expand we have a site in Lower Topanga, which we had in the past, but we lost funding to. We're looking to go back and continue. And, you guys can help us try to find areas that need this restoration. You guys will reach out to me, and we'll take it from there, figure out how we can gather funding and how we can engage the community in really coming out and helping restore these areas. But as my last slide, I just wanted to show one of our little plantings. You can see on the left a little coast live oak seedling, which we've been taking care of for about the past year. And then on the right, you can see a large, very mature coast live oak. And that's what we're trying to bring back to these damaged areas. Next slide, Kevin.
All right. Well, thanks, Yvonne.
Yeah.
The Land Trust currently owns, manages, or protects roughly 3,000 acres throughout the Santa Monica Mountains. But for tonight's discussion, I'll focus primarily on Headwaters Corner, just given its proximity and importance to the city. Now, Headwaters Corner has an interesting history these last couple of years. It used to serve as our main headquarters, as well as an interpretive and education center for school groups and the public at large. But back in 2016, a wildfire swept through the site, resulting in a total loss of the infrastructure there. So this was the 2016 old fire. You'll be forgiven if you don't remember it. It was relatively small. They'd kept it at just over 500 acres. But when it did sweep through, it burned down our office building, which you can see the photos here. This is often referred to as the Bartell House, as well as the vehicle bridge leading to and from the site. So as you can imagine, this was devastating. It really set us back in innumerable ways. But at the same time, it provides a rather exciting opportunity for us. So we're currently in the process of working with architects, civil engineers to redesign Headwaters Corner to make it a much better site, more readily accessible and utilized by the public. So you can see here some images. These are just some draft schematics and renderings of what we're hoping to achieve on the site. And now with Tree People, we'll get their really highly esteemed environmental education team. Tree People runs eco tours at Coldwater Canyon Park out in Studio City. We'll be bringing that educational material to Calabasas. And formerly we focused on watershed ecology, native plant ecology. We're going to do all that again, but we're also going to add this new element of wildfire resilience. Now, this is a topic that I could spend hours going on and on about: wildfire ecology, defensible space, home hardening. I'm going to spare you all most of that for tonight. But I do really want to draw your attention to this image on the right-hand side of the screen. So this is the Bartell House. This is a drone image looking down. This was taken shortly before it was demolished last summer. And what you see is on the top side of the building, very clearly the roof and everything there burned to a much greater degree than the bottom portion. And this, along with some other indicators, show us that that side of the building is what initially caught fire and spread to the rest of the structure. What's weird is that the wind direction wasn't coming from that side that day. So why would that side of the building catch fire? Well, there was an old wooden patio cover directly affixed to the structure, directly under some exposed eaves. And all those things are big no-nos if you're going to be building in a very high severity fire zone. So if we had implemented some just very basic home hardening principles, we very may well have prevented the structure from being destroyed. So with that in mind, we're going to take that history and use that to tell a story. So our vision for this is we've brought in Clark Stevens with the Resource Conservation District. He's the lead engineer, architect so far for the project. And what we're going to do is every element of this redesign is taking wildfire resilience into consideration. So everything from building materials to where the new building will be situated and orientated will be an example for the community to come and see a physical manifestation of these lessons that we're teaching around home hardening and defensible space. So if you haven't gone to it already, I really encourage you all to check out this website listed on the bottom, www.defensiblespace.org. It's a wonderful resource, goes over all the latest science of home hardening. It's very specific to this region. And the idea is that when we rebuild Headwaters Corner, we'll create a physical place where all these lessons can be taught. So we're really excited. We're hoping to secure permits for this by early next year and then break ground soon thereafter. We're also hoping to expand the recreational capacity of Headwaters Corner. So the orange you see on the upper left, that's the current 12-acre site. But everywhere else highlighted here is kind of the area of interest. So some of this is already owned by the city or other public partners. But we are in discussions with adjacent landowners to see if we can acquire new lands and develop more of a trail system with Headwaters Corner and Wild Walnut Park as kind of the main access points for that. We also refer to Headwaters Corner as gateway to the Santa Monica Mountains because of its location just on the southwest corner of the San Fernando Valley. And you can see it sits right there on the border of the National Recreation Area, which is just a fantastic resource that we all should be so thankful it's in close proximity. So we want to use Headwaters Corner additionally as kind of a visitor center, education, to get people to explore their mountains. And what you see there highlighted in orange is those 3,000 acres that we protect that I mentioned earlier. So thank you all for hearing us out today. There's a lot more that we do across tree people, everything from policy and research to our land conservation work. So we couldn't cover it all today, but hopefully that just gave you a little taste. If you want to learn more or sign up for one of our volunteer events, go to treepeople.org. And feel free to reach out. We'd love to connect with you and help things along. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you to all of you who came, Kevin and Yvonne and Mario. Thank you so much. All right, commissioners or student commissioners, does anyone have any questions or open up for discussion? David, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got several questions or comments. First of all, I really do want to thank Kevin, Mario, and Yvonne. I really appreciated your presentations. And I'm really fond of your organization. When it was Mountain Restoration Trust, you worked really closely with us and with the school. So I don't know if you know this, but later on in our meeting, we're going to be electing the student reps for this commission. And in the past, this Calabasas High School worked very closely and was very fortunate that some of the tree people came and helped with planting. A senior class from 3 or 4 years ago, their class project was planting trees. And there's this kid that some of you may have heard of. His name was Elijah Schwartz. For his Eagle Scout project, he planted trees behind the tennis courts. I know that Tree People and Mountain Restoration Trust has played a vital role in a lot of the environmental efforts for our commission and for our community. So thank you guys. Couple questions. One, with regard to the building, I know when that initially burned down, I know that there were some friends that we had there who were saying that this, might be a bit of a blessing in disguise since they were able to contain it, and those were the only structures that burned. And they were saying, as you mentioned, that hopefully they could put up facilities that are more appropriate as opposed to just the old house or whatever that was. There was a year that we did Arbor Day there, and we're planting a lot of milkweed, and there's been a lot of efforts like that. Do you foresee planting of that kind of thing as well, going back in there? And do you see opportunities with Calabasas High School across the street and Viewpoint just up the street? Do you see opportunities to bring in the schools and have them engaged as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We currently host bi-weekly volunteer events every Wednesday at Headwaters Corner. Even though most of the infrastructure still isn't built, we're still maintaining the grounds, making sure it stays primarily native. So yeah, we can always do specialized events with students and the school staff. So yeah, absolutely. We don't necessarily need to get all the permits in order to start more of the landscaping side of things. So once we kind of finalize the plans, we can start implementing more of the landscape as soon as the funding's available.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, David. Whitney.
Hi, everybody. That was such an awesome presentation. Yvonne, Mario, Kevin, thank you so much. That I am really interested in all the things that the commission can do, plus the school district with Tree People. I didn't know that you were all part of the MRT, so that's really informative to me. And I had the privilege of speaking with Mario at the Earth Day Festival, and he just filled my mind with so much information. And I just think it's really critical that a community like Calabasas that's just surrounded by trees, we need to show the students that this is an absolute privilege, and we need to get our students out to inner cities and help make a difference so that those cities have trees. It's critical, and I'm committed to collaborating with you all. So thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. All right, I'll go to some of these hands. JC, I see your hand is up.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mario, Kevin, and Yvonne, thank you so much for that great presentation. I really appreciated just knowing more about both organizations. I have two questions. One is, you said volunteer events every Wednesday at Headwaters Corner. What are those events, Kevin?
Primarily grounds maintenance. So depending on the time of year, it's either planting trees or removing weeds or just basic trail maintenance around the site. So keeping it up to a reasonable condition.
And those are volunteer events that you bring in the public or interested
parties? Yeah, so if you go to our volunteer website, you can see it listed every other Wednesday and just sign up right there.
Okay. And I have a more general question. I think you may or may not have an answer for it. How are you addressing the water situation that we might be facing when you have to plant many, many trees and the water restrictions that we're all looking at around the corner? Any idea? Not yet. Okay. You don't have to have an answer.
Yeah, we don't have an answer for that yet, but we'll have to figure it out soon for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we're still analyzing that. One thing that we're really excited is hopefully end of this year, maybe early next year, we are releasing a native garden kit program where we'd be selling essentially pre-designed native garden kits for people to replace their lawns. So we just hired a landscape architect. It will be themed. So it'll be like a hummingbird garden, a purple garden, various themes with native plants. The trick is, of course, with these new water restrictions, that's great in the long term, but how do we accommodate the establishment of those plants? So in the long term, that will definitely be one of our solutions. Short term, we're still analyzing.
Got it. Pretty clever. I like that idea. Again, thank you very much. I'm done.
Thank you, JC. And Andy, I see your hand.
Thank you. And thank you, tree people, for the presentation. I have learned many things at the knee of Andy Lipkiss over the years. So, I'm wondering, you mentioned your restoration work and coastal live oak and the rest. One of the priorities that has arisen from the city's strategic planning process includes landscaping with native plants. I wonder if you could kind of dive into the importance of that, maybe for some of our proposed student commissioners and the rest, like why it's so important to landscape with natives and restore with native plants.
Kevin, you want to take this one? Or I take this one?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, native plants, I think, are finally coming to the public eye. It's something that has been kind of a niche hobby for many folks for a while, but I think with the drought pressures and everything else going on, it's finally coming to reach kind of a broader audience. So yeah, landscaping with natives is great, not just for water conservation, but also for pollinator preservation. So our bees, our moths, our butterflies, all those require these native species that they've evolved with and adapted to. So when we throw grass or even non-native shrubs, they may not be able to get the food that they need. So it's got multiple benefits across, everything. And frankly, I just find it a lot more interesting. I don't know about me, but I just find that those that do a great job with native landscaping, it just kind of pops. It just brings this kind of new artistry to people's front yards. So yeah, I highly encourage it, and we're hoping that this native garden kit program will be a way for that to become much more accessible to folks.
Thank you. And to echo my colleagues' comments on the drought, the recent declarations by the governor and the Metropolitan Water District, it's really significant that we're not going to be receiving water from the State Water Project. And this part of the valley mainly gets its water from the State Water Project. So it's really hitting home. Once you have looked into this, I'm sure we'd really like to be able to spread out some of your tips on how, what can our Calabasas residents do to continue to water and maintain their trees as they reduce their lawn watering. I remember during the last height of the drought, we at the Metropolitan Water District, we got approved $350 million to remove lawns and ended up putting down a whole bunch of rocks. Mm-hmm. And it really encouraged actually a lot of the biodiversity efforts that you're talking about. If we're going to provide incentives, then we should do it for multiple purposes to build habitat for pollinators and birds and all of that. But once you do kind of figure out some good messaging, I'm sure our Calabasas residents would really benefit from what they can do to protect their trees as the drought continues to get worse.
Yeah, I encourage you all to follow Tree People on social media. We have a newsletter that goes out. As this develops, we'll be putting together educational materials with recommended guidelines of how to adapt to these new restrictions. And as you mentioned, that was a big concern with the last drought. Everyone just threw rocks or turf in, fake turf that is. So we actually have been working in the background with a few water districts to try and increase the rebate if you use native plants, make sort of a biodiversity metric to those rebate calculations to encourage native plantings. And then also in years past, there have been exemptions made for keeping trees alive. We've seen that before. It's something that we're going to be pushing for this time around. And what I tell folks is there's a lot of other things you can sacrifice before you sacrifice your trees. So yellow, leaf, and mellow, reduce your showers, even the smaller shrubs and other plants around your house, let the trees live. They provide the most benefit. So make that your last resort.
Yeah, and Kevin, to your point, the average shower is you're using about 18 gallons per shower. We're asking folks, when we're planting parkway.
Oh, Mario, you just went on mute again.
Oh, sorry. When we do parkway plantings, we're asking folks to just dedicate 15 gallons a week. So literally less than, one shower. We're not asking you to skip any showers, folks, but maybe just, moderating a little bit will enable, a resident to actually pour some love into that tree, ensure that it survives throughout the summer.
Thank you. And my last question, I particularly appreciate your plans to protect the areas across from Headwaters Corner and up the hills. There's a significant wildlife crossing right there. The Liberty Canyon crossing got international acclaim. I don't think this little crossing will get international acclaim, but several deer have been hit right there. And I think part of it is because they're crossing Mulholland to get water over there by Headwaters Corners. Is there anything you can do as you refurbish the area and move in to work with the city and the city staff to better protect the wildlife in that area? There's like a little deer crossing sign, but I'm not sure the deer can actually understand it that well.
Yeah, well, I do know that city is currently in the design, at least conceptual design phase of redoing that portion of Mulholland Highway to make it pedestrian friendly, so that there's a little bit more of a byway between Viewpoint and Calabasas High School. So as part of that process, we could work with the city to try and make some recommendations on that, because there will be some construction going on. So while things are getting torn up and redone, might as well make sure that's considered and do what we can.
I would definitely encourage your advocacy to the city staff on that. Thank you.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. And Andy, that's something Whitney had brought up before. Whitney, you just came back on, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say that a bunch of community members on Mulholland got together, and we've witnessed the deer being killed. And also the deer have been hit by cars that weren't even speeding because they don't hear the Tesla and they don't hear the electric cars. So they just jump out, and then it's just even more horrible because it's like a slow, terrible death that a lot of us have been witnessing. That being said, we got together and we've come up with a bunch of different signs that if I remember correctly, that Alex said to submit the suggestions to, is it traffic and safety, Alex? Which are just a series of signs that say wildlife crossing, please slow down for wildlife, because yeah, Andy, you're correct. The deer can't read. But maybe if the people driving are aware of how special this area is, if we have a series of signs that's not just the deer sign, but many signs in a row, so that they know that this corridor is very specifically, filled with a lot of wildlife. Not every part of Mulholland is packed with wildlife, but pretty much near where Tree People's headquarters is. So, that's something I've been working on, and yeah, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I just wanted to connect you guys. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to all three of you for coming. And I look forward to the relationship that any of us will start going forward. And we will move on to kind of focusing on the students now. So Zachary, it's his last meeting with us, and we asked you to gather a presentation. We also intend to celebrate you. We have ordered a plaque for you we'd like to present later when it arrives, maybe taking you out to celebrate, because you have been an exceptional addition to the committee. So I'll pass it off to you so you can tell us about your time.
No, thank you so much. So I prepared like a little presentation for you guys. Sorry for the pun, but I had a tremendous time with y'all here on the commission. I hope this serves as a good introduction for some of you who haven't met yet. Some like those new potential student commissioners, also some of our new commissioners, Andy. So please, if you guys have any questions, any comments throughout this, please just shout it out, interrupt me, because I just want to try to share what experiences I've had for these past few years, and maybe relate some ideas for future commission events. So briefly about me, I'm a student at Calabasas High School, graduating senior. I have been involved with the Environmental Commission for the city for the past 3 years. I interviewed in my freshman year, and here I am at the end of my senior year. The end of freshman year, so I guess 4 years. This is a picture of the Roots and Shoots Club during the pandemic. Some faces have changed along the way, but you see it's a pretty diverse, pretty big group of students, representative of a lot of different grades here at Calabasas High School. And we all share a passion for helping the community and the environment. And then finally, I'm also on the Roots and Shoots National Youth Leadership Council, which is a select group of like 40 students nationwide, who are just like environmental leaders in their communities. So the next slides are a bunch of just projects that I've worked on over the years, many with the commission or many with Roots and Shoots, or combination of the two. So the first one is trash and leaf cleanups. We've had a lot of these at Calabasas High School. It's a great way for students to give back to the school. We pick up leaves because we have a ton of oak trees in this area, and the leaves pile up 2-3 feet. We try to keep a lot there, but we also like to rake it just so that some grass can grow. And because we have some plants that we did plant, and we want to make sure that they have some sunlight. Quick shout out, Noah Shapiro. He is in this bottom left picture, and he will be interviewing today for a student commissioner spot. So early on with Roots and Shoots, we did the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, which was with Mayor David Shapiro. He basically signed something that was meant to promote the education about monarch butterflies, the planting of milkweed and things like that. And I don't think it's still active, but it was a great way to get some publicity about the fact that our monarch butterflies are rather endangered, and Calabasas does actually serve as they do migrate through here. We also installed drip irrigation, and we planted native flora. So this was in my sophomore year, so about 2 years ago. We had the help of the district. Fernando is an amazing custodian and groundskeeper at Calabasas High School, who worked with us a lot. He helped us pick out the plants. If you guys remember Noah Weiss, he was the big succulent plant guy. And so he chose a lot of the native plants that we put into the area. And then, of course, we have drip irrigation to not waste too much water, while also allowing some native flora to thrive a little bit. Also, during the pandemic, we had a virtual Earth Week. You guys can see some of the days that we did. But it was really just make sure that people are still mindful of the environment, even though we were all just sitting at home on our computers all day. Okay. And then we had a rock painting. This was actually a collaboration between the Mental Health Awareness Club and Roots and Shoots. So it's kind of maybe not the environmental aspect of Roots and Shoots, but it's the community mental health aspect. And we basically painted a lot of rocks with positive messages, or with just fun colors, and we put it on that trail area where we had installed the drip irrigation and planted. And it just serves as a little positive environment for the students as they walk in and out of school. We also built owl boxes. So this is a project I actually really do want to highlight. It was one of the main things that we did over the pandemic. Basically, owl boxes are birdhouses for owls. And the reason we want owl boxes is to reduce rodenticide use. Our school actually had been using anticoagulant rodenticides, which are problematic in that they get passed up the food chain. So if if like a rodent, for instance, if it eats rodenticides, and then if it is eaten by a larger creature, so like by an owl or a hawk or even a mountain lion, those larger animals can die from the poison. And so we wanted to promote owl boxes as a way of, kind of decreasing that rodent population, and decreasing the need for rodenticide. So we built these owl boxes from scratch. We got those blueprints. We actually installed them in some trees. You can see in like that right photo there. And our school and later our entire school district actually removed all rodenticides. So every single campus in LVSD, Las Virgenes Unified, does not have rodenticide boxes, which is a really huge deal. That happened really recently, only a year or two ago. We also have signage. So if any of you guys are aware of Calabasas High School, the area that connects the parking lot to the school, which is the area we had planted native flora and installed drip irrigation where our rocks are, it had often been called by an inappropriate name, simply because a lot of students felt like it was an unsafe area. And it kind of built up a bad reputation. But since then, we've actually cleared up a lot of brush, made it more a safer environment, and we installed signage. So we named it the Coyote Trail after the Calabasas High School mascot, the Calabasas Coyote. And since then, I've heard the Coyote Trail being used a lot more as the name. Actually today, we were walking by and I heard some freshmen like saying, let's go take the Coyote Trail down. Like, I'm not making that up, like that they actually said that, which is actually really great because it shows that we're actually making some change, changing the behavior and thoughts of like a lot of students in like a positive way. So in addition to like Roots and Shoots, like those were a lot of the Roots and Shoots projects. I'm also on the Mayor's Youth Council, or at least I was. I was the secretary for the Mayor's Youth Council, and we organized a lot of events, but I chose to highlight two of them. So the first one is we held a documentary screening of Kiss the Ground, which is about regenerative agriculture. The mayor showed up. We got some cool photos. We were gonna have like a bug eating demonstration, but that never really turned out. But it was a really great movie. I would highly recommend it. It's actually on Netflix. It's really, really entertaining and super informative. And then on the right, we had a Mayor's Youth Council Earth Week events. So we had different themed days with like a competition in which we had like people participating from around the community, sending in photos, and then we would provide them with information, stuff like that. And it culminated with a creek cleanup, sorry, and an Arbor Day celebration. So actually, right where our Earth Week event was this year, that's where we had the creek cleanup and the tree planting. So you saw like a lot of those like saplings. We had planted those about a year ago. There's that. And then Ordinance Writing. This was a great, so for those who are joining the commission does a lot of proposals to City Council about environmental issues and how we can fix them. And some of those incorporates writing proposed ordinances. So to amend the municipal code or to add to it, to help the environment, make our city more sustainable. So the first one I did, it was with Beth and Jessica Cohen, who is at Cornell right now. She was a past student commissioner, and it was about backyard beekeeping. Unfortunately, that didn't get the green light for certain reasons with the municipal code, but it was a really great experience and taught me how to do it. And I used all that experience with my lid lock ordinance, which was an amendment to our city's municipal code, which basically requires all commercial centers to keep their trash cans shut and locked. So on the right there, you can see like, the Commons, Courtyard at the Commons, Gelson's Shopping Center, and more. They have their trash cans wide open. It's overflowing. It's a perfect breeding ground and feast for rodents. And right next to all the dumpsters are rodenticide boxes. And so it was inspired by Poison Free Malibu. But basically, the lid lock ordinance would reduce the food supply for rodents, right? If we keep our dumpsters shut, they don't have access to it. And so hopefully that would reduce overall rodenticide use. And this was actually passed in like September or October. I spoke with city council, presented a couple times, and now if you guys walk around Calabasas, if you guys go and look back at those, alleyways with all the dumpsters, you will see that they have locks on them, lock bars, they're shut, and conditions have improved actually a lot. And so I am hopeful that that has reduced rodenticide use. And then Earth Day, Arbor Day, I've been involved with that for the past 3 years. It was actually the first commission event I participated in was Earth Day in 2019. That's where I met a lot of you guys. I know I met Beth there. Sydney Bragman, she was a student commissioner at that time. And then, Martha and Julie, who are no longer with the commission. But, it's really served as like great information spreading, and it's gotten a lot of people involved, including myself, in these environmental issues. So in addition to this, also a pumpkin festival and all that. So, those are the projects that I've worked on in, these 3 years. There's others that I haven't been able to highlight. Tree People has come to talk to us about composting at the Roots and Shoots Club, and I've done some water conservation work and, more stuff with the Mayor's Youth Council. But, this was the stuff that I thought you guys would be interested in. It can serve as maybe like a example for, stuff that you guys can do for future student commissioners. And yeah, so next year I am headed off to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. If you ask me what I'm studying, I don't know. But hopefully I'll incorporate some environmental stuff into it. It could be environmental business or environmental engineering, or I don't know. But my passion for the environment has really sprung from being a part of this commission and joining all the organizations in this community. And so I want to thank you all for that experience. This has really been a tremendous 3 years of my life. I know that when I think about high school in the future, the commission and Roots and Shoots and all those environmental organizations will come to mind, simply because it's allowed me to actually create change in this community. If we see problems in this world, sometimes people like to just talk about it, but I feel like the commission provides an awesome booster to actually get our words into action. And I want to thank you all so much for the help and support and resources that you all have provided me. And it's really been an honor working with you all. So that's my presentation, but thank you guys so much.
Oh, Zach, I loved it. I almost cried, but congrats on Brown. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
I feel like I should thank you for letting us work with you, because you've been very inspiring, and we're very excited to see what you do in the future. So stay connected to us. Anyone else want to say anything? Any commissioners or any questions from the students that are here? Okay. Oh, David, did you want to?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for making that presentation. I appreciate that. I think it's good to, I think you lead by example, and I appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. And I hope you'll stick around this summer and help with the transition for the next generation.
Yes, of course.
I know you will. JC.
As you've been impressive with everything, your presentation was as well. I wish you all the best. I think you have a very bright future. And actually, I feel very lucky to have had the chance to work with you this last year and a half. So good luck to you in Rhode Island. It's a beautiful place. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm walking out the door. Whoa! I just walked into my. It's been a real pleasure to work with you, Zach. I've told you so many times how much you impress me and how much I've grown just being in your presence. You broke the mold in what a change maker is, and you fascinate me, and I look forward to all the things you're going to do. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going into the airport, so I've got a little. Yes. So yes, way to go, Zach. Can't wait to hear more about what you're doing.
Awesome. Have a good flight.
Thank you.
Okay, so then that leads us to new beginnings, and we will interview the candidates for the student seats We decided to do them in alphabetical order by first name, just so you know the layout. So it'll be Lila, and then Lux, then Nicolo, and then
Nicolo.
No, say it again.
Nicolo, you got it right.
Nicolo, and then Noah and Tabitha. After that, we will vote for the student member and then the alternate student member, and that will be the flow. So starting with Lila, a current commissioner, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and read what you have prepared for us.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Lila Guillory. I'm a junior at Calabasas High School. I've always been an advocate for and been passionate for preserving and strengthening our environment and community. I've really enjoyed serving this past year as the alternate student member, and I would love to continue to serve on this commission. Over the past year especially, I've really developed my passion for learning about and protecting our environment. I took a course in environmental studies through Brown over the summer, and I'm currently in AP Environmental Science at CHS, which is definitely my favorite class. I actually just took the AP test today and I thought it went well, so hopefully it did. I definitely want to major in something that has to do with the environment in college, definitely something with environmental sciences. For my Gold Award project in Girl Scouts, which I just recently finished, I focused on how to prevent and prepare for wildfire damage. I put on a seminar to the City of Calabasas on the dangers of fire and what to do to prepare, and I organized a brush cleanup nearby to help prevent possible damage. I'm very enthusiastic about this. It's one of my main passions, and I'd be honored to be selected as a student environmental commissioner. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Lila. Does anyone have any questions for Lila? Any commissioners have questions? David?
Yeah. Hi, Lila.
Hi.
My question is, what if you were to get on the commission again for this next year, what are some of the plans that you have or things that you would you'd like to see the commission do, and also specifically with regard to the student role, what are some of the things that you have in mind for the student role in the commission?
So I would definitely want to focus on reducing emissions into the atmosphere somehow. In my environmental science class, we learned all about combustion of fossil fuels and how it's so bad for the planet. And I really believe that that's a major issue that we face. I would want to advocate for a huge push towards electric vehicles. As a student, I don't know how much power I have in achieving this because I don't really have legislative power, but certainly I would like to start with just generally educating the citizens of Calabasas on the dangers of that gas-powered vehicles when they release carbon dioxide into the environment and the damage that's caused to our planet. I know there's just a ban placed on the sale of gas-powered leaf blowers, I think by 2024, which is wonderful. So I would want to further progress in that direction to curb carbon dioxide emissions.
Thank you. Any other questions for Lila? Okay, any closing comments you want to say before we move on, Lila? It's not necessary, just if you'd like to.
No, I think I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to Lux.
Hi, I'm Lux. I'm a junior at Calabasas High, and I've been part of the Mayor's Youth Council. This year is now my first year as a board member, but I've been involved in the Civic Engagement Subcommittee since last year. And we really work on youth voter registration, and overall we plan a lot of events, including Earth Day and Arbor Day events. And so that's really important to me. And through the Mayor's Youth Council, I learned a lot about this commission, and I wanted to get involved from learning about it from the council. My top goals would have to do through my school. I noticed a lot of issues in not having enough recycling bins at schools or clearly labeled bins. So I noticed a lot of littering around campuses, and I feel like that's a very preventable issue. And also I noticed on your website about what you promote and sponsor, and you do sponsor e-waste collections. And I think since I grew up, my family has been really big about recycling and reducing our plastic waste. And so I think a big way is to promote collections for plastic bottles and cans. They're all over. I know a lot of them are in Woodland Hills, like near the grocery stores. And I think if we promote them through newspapers or the Instagram, and we are able to help reduce our plastic waste in our environments. And also a big goal of mine, if I do have the honor to be part of this commission, is I want to conduct a lot of events to help volunteer hours, especially for high school students, to help with trash pickup around hiking trails, parks, schools, even the beaches. Like I'm the varsity captain of my CHS's volleyball team for beach and indoor. So I'm very aware of the waste on beaches, and it affects me immediately when I practice. So I think that's a major goal I want to target.
Thank you, Lux. Any questions for Lux? David.
Yes, I will ask the same question. But first of all, hello, Lux. Thank you for applying. Nice to see you. So I'm going to ask you the same question. I think you answered some of it already in terms of what some of the things you'd like to do in terms of with motivating students and such. What are some of the things that you'd like to see us do? You heard some of the things that Zachary was able to do as a student rep, working with the adults and with the city and the staff. What are some of the things that, if you have any ideas, things you'd like to see as well?
Yeah, I noticed around like the city I saw this in my middle school, is that they had refilling water bottle stations. And I think that was a really good idea because it was very like filtered water. It wasn't like those like kind of unsanitary water fountains. So like people can fill up their water bottles easily around the city, near the library or in the commons or really anywhere. I think that's great. And I think also educating from elementary school all the way till adulthood, a lot of people are unaware of their carbon footprint. And I think that's a major issue. I think a lot of people should be knowledgeable about, and how they can reduce like overuse of energy and water, and using native plants in their gardens, and just having more like conservation in their daily lives.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lux. Okay.
I see Andy's hand raised. Andy,
Thank
is
you,
this
Alex.
Yeah.
Andy, go ahead.
Yes, Lux, I was looking at your application. I think you have an interesting connection between being the captain of the volleyball team and as you mentioned, sort of the plastic waste on the beach. Do you have any ideas how to use your, I don't know, both together in sort of an inventive way? Seems like there might be some opportunities for volleyball team to bring attention to plastic on the beach and in the ocean.
Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of people in the program, like the boys and girls program is very collective. And I work like one-on-one with the coach a lot to help organize our program. So I definitely can get both of the boys and girls volleyball programs together to promote it. I know there are a lot of ways you can volunteer for like beach pickups that we can advertise through like NHS, which is like the National Honor Society at my school. And like I have a connection to that, as well as ASB, and even through the Mayor's Youth Council, like we can advertise it through the Instagram and such. And I can for sure like contact my coach, and we can put something together to even have like our families and the players come out and like do a collective beach cleanup.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Did you want to do any closing comments?
I'm okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to Nicolo.
Hello, my name is Nicolo Tarango. I like to go by Gogo generally. I've been interested in environmental efforts throughout my life. Since elementary school, I started a group of people that would help clean up trash around the school. There's plenty of litter around Bay Laurel, even on the hills. And I really want to focus on community involvement because it all starts from a ground level. I want to have more things like the Arbor Day event from last year where we had the creek cleanup, and we could organize that through the Environmental Commission. Let's see. Oh, I'm also part of both the civic engagement and environmental committees, and was last year. And this year, I'm currently the head of the environmental subcommittee, the Mayor's Youth Council. I went to the Arbor Day events with Zachary, and I also helped organize the Earth Week events that we had and the documentary screening at the City Hall.
Thank you so much. All right, David, do you want to ask your go-to question?
I do. Hello, Gogo. Nice to see you again. And thank you for your involvement in those activities. So you've heard the question I'm asking. I'm going to ask it again. In addition to what you've accomplished in the past, what is it that you would like to do with us on this commission? And what are some of the things that you would like to, do in terms of spreading the word and the activism for environmental issues with the school and with the student members?
So as far as this commission is concerned, I think with the commission, I can get a lot more done. There's more influence here than in the subcommittee of the Mayor's Youth Council. We can actually better publicize events, more people pay attention, so we can get more involvement and volunteers. And for getting more active at the school, I think posters generally do well, especially morning announcements. That's something for other events where people put up posters, but not many morning announcements is what everyone will hear. If you just put a poster, not many people are going to read it or really acknowledge it. But if we could work with the students to have it on the morning announcements, then a lot more people will become involved.
Thank you.
Okay, and JC, I see your hand.
Thank you, Gogo. Just one quick question. In the fall, you'll be a junior or senior?
Oh, I will be a senior in the fall.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm junior this year.
Okay. Thanks.
Good question, thanks. Okay, any closing comments?
I have a quick question.
Oh,
Sorry, I realized I didn't ask the other student, so it's not 100% even, but we'll start asking now, I guess. So Gogo, I have a quick question for you. You've already done a lot of your high school experience. You're going to be a senior. How do you think the Environmental Commission is going to continue to help you grow and add to your high school experience?
I think obviously, college applications, let's be honest. But I think it'll just help me spread influence more about our environmental efforts. It's just a good thing to do for everyone, for the world, for a city,
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Would you like me to just start? All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Noah Shapiro, and currently I'm a sophomore at Calabasas. Before CHS, I attended Bay Laurel and AC Style, whereas I was consistently a strong student, earning the Presidential Award and graduating with honors in middle school. At CHS, I'm also part of the California Scholarship Federation, as well as a member of the National Honor Society. Currently, I play for my high school soccer team and football team, and also enjoy biking, going on walks with my family, and spending time with my friends. Currently at school, I'm a member of Roots and Shoots, where I hold the position of treasurer. And being part of this club has solidified the fact that I'm passionate about improving the impact that we have on our environment. And in this club, we have done things such as build owl boxes, done trash cleanups, and discussed different ways to make our community more environmentally aware. After building the owl boxes last winter, I was inspired to find other ways to help the environment. And when doing so, I came across a program that turns used disposable masks into owl boxes. So with the support from Roots and Shoots, I started to collect used masks at local temples and at my high school. And these masks have been recycled and made into materials that can be used to make the owl homes. This has been very successful as we have collected over 1,000 masks and are still doing it. And besides working on environmental projects, I'm passionate about my volunteer work. And every Sunday since I was 12, I've been volunteering at West Hills Champions, which is a baseball league for kids with special needs. And working with my buddy that they assigned us these last 5 years, it has taught me a lot of compassion and patience. And I'm also in connecting with teens, which is like local community group where I've organized drives where we collect hoodies in local communities and then distribute them among less privileged kids in low income areas. And then throughout my position on the Mayor's Youth Council, I've learned the importance of civic duty and community involvement. And this has led to a desire to get the younger children in our neighborhoods more involved. Since I feel that when I was in elementary school, we were not hands-on enough with projects to better the environment. I believe that children in our elementary schools should have the experience of planting trees or even flowers at their schools. One project that I'm interested in is starting a meaningful garden. I would love to see gardens planted in our community to teach students about the benefits of gardening for boosting creativity and productivity, as well as perhaps being able to donate food to those with food insecurities. Overall, I like to be involved in things that I'm passionate about, including solving environmental problems through sustainable initiatives and civic engagement. I believe I do a good job of balancing my academic, athletic, and social life with my other commitments. I will collaborate with all of you to help spread the word about the great city programs to the students of CHS while continuing to promote student involvement. I want to focus on encouraging the student body of CHS and ultimately other schools across the district to continue to be environmentally conscious so that our city will continue to flourish. I believe that if we get elementary and middle school age students excited about the environment now, they will be willing and driven to work on environmental issues when they get to high school.
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry about last time. Thank you, Noah. Thank you so much. Okay, David, start us off.
Thanks, Beth. Noah, thank you so much. Appreciate how prepared you were for that presentation. And thanks for all the things you've been involved with as well. I'm going to ask you basically the same question. The student rep, as you saw with Zachary, is a bit of a liaison between the school, all the schools, because there's also Viewpoint, and there are Calabasas kids that go to Agora, as JC and I know. So it's a liaison between them and the city. And as you know, Alex here is with the staff, and there's a lot of staff members that have helped with some of the events you've attended, and with all of us commissioners. So what are some of your ideas for things like Zachary spoke about, things that he's done with the lid locks and things, some of those projects that he was involved in? Are there things that are of specific interest to you?
Yeah, I mean, the meaningful garden thing that I talked about is very important because I feel like, especially as kids, we hear a lot about like things that we can do to better the environment, but we never actually do them. So I think even just simple things like that will get kids more involved and actually help them understand how important it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Andy?
No, a good presentation. I noticed on your application that you're involved with Scope. I work with Scope quite a lot, so I was curious what it is you do with them.
Well, my brother started like the West Coast portion of it, and the camp that I go to back east, the head of the camp, like the director, is one of the main people that works with Scope. Her name's Dana Harden. So since like I have such a like strong connection to camp, I felt like it was very important to help kids or underprivileged kids get that experience. So I joined, like with Troy, I joined the youth like council for that.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Zachary.
Yes. So no, you're going to be going into junior year, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big year. I mean, you're probably gonna be taking some like, APs or harder classes. How do you think like you're going to be able to balance your time to make sure that you can contribute to the Environmental Commission?
Well, right now I definitely do not procrastinate. So I have like this checklist of all the assignments that I need to do, and then I get them done in my free period in classes, and then also as soon as I get home before practices and all that.
Awesome. All right. So then let's move on to Tabitha, our last. Go ahead, Tabitha. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Tabitha Metler, but I go by Tabby. I'm a sophomore at Calabasas, and I'm really interested in being on this commission. So a little bit about me. I've lived in Calabasas all my life, and I'm pretty familiar with the area. I'm a varsity softball player and member of multiple clubs, including the GSA, the Personnel Finance Club, and the National Honor Society. I've also been a Girl Scout for over a decade, where I recently achieved my Silver Award, and I'm now starting my Gold Award, where I plan to talk about skin cancer and like how that affects athletes. I'm not quite at that stage yet where I have to like start it, but I'm getting there. And the Girl Scouts have also given me the opportunity to participate in many community activities, which include beach cleanups and brush clearance events. Having lived here all my life, I've seen the impact of climate change in real time. The ongoing drought and numerous brush fires have unfortunately become a really stressful reality for all of us, especially living in Southern California. I think I would make a valuable addition to the committee because as a teenager, I could communicate better with people my age to encourage conservation and environmental awareness to help alleviate some of the stress that we all have to deal with. If I was selected, I think my primary focus would be water conservation. As I walk through my neighborhood, I see people washing their cars and turning on the sprinklers that are broken, and all that water's just going right down the drain. And then also, as I'm on the softball team, softball field grass is just kind of dead, and it's definitely seen better days. And I feel like that could kind of change if people maybe didn't wash their cars as much. And my hope is that by working together, we can educate people so that we all get through this together. And I think that if you start educating high schoolers now, my hope would be that they would establish the good habits of environmental conservation now, and then hopefully bring those habits for the rest of their life. And as for me personally, I feel pretty confident in my communication and leadership skills, and know that we could work together to raise awareness in small ways that hopefully have a big impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha. Any questions for Tabitha?
Hi there. May I ask some questions, Beth?
Yes, please, David, go ahead.
Hi, Tabby. Thank you very much. And thank you for you speak very well. So I'm going to ask you basically the same question. You've been involved in a lot of things with the school and as a student. You can see some of the things that we achieve with the city and with staff and with environmental issues throughout our community. And you mentioned water and working on that, which is something near and dear to my heart. What are some of the things that you would like to bring back to your school and as you serve as liaison and some of the things you'd want to be involved in?
Okay, so at Calabasas, as I don't know when it was mentioned, but there are water refilling stations, which I think is super great. But I also feel like a lot of students don't really care all that much about how they're affecting the environment because it's just like, oh, it's just one time. But no, it definitely adds up. So one way that I would probably, especially with the water conservation area, is focus more on like, not just like dumping your water bottle out if you're not using it, or like not if you finished using it, and more focusing on like, how can we divert it to more necessary needs, like maybe like sports fields or I don't know, some classes need a lot of water, like science classes with like sinks and stuff. And usually they're not working because there's literally just not enough water to go around and there's only like 2 sinks working. So I feel like conserving that water, and especially since we live here, that's very important and it could benefit both the school and then also the city in general.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Andy?
Hi, Tabby. I was looking at your application. I'm curious what the CHS Artistic Healing Club is.
Okay, so I was participating in that last year, and then obviously nothing crazy happened. But it was sort of, you go to like hospitals and you talk with patients and you like do art with them and you do activities with them. Again, that didn't really happen all that much, but that was kind of the ultimate goal, is to kind of help kids in the hospital like kind of feel more, kind of have more of a community of students around them.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, anything, Zachary, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask the same question I asked Noah, because I think you're in the same situation going to junior year, right? So how are you gonna balance your time?
Well, already now I have to balance my time a lot because I'm an athlete and then I have AP classes, which suck. And so I've gotten pretty good at balancing my time. And I feel like adding this one thing on, I mean, I think I would be able to manage just, and again, like no, I have like a checklist and I have a lot of things and all my school assignments. And when I get home, I do my homework. I don't like go on my phone. And so I feel like I'd be able to manage my time fairly well. And then adding this on, I definitely could manage it.
Okay, thank you, Tabitha or Tabby. Gogo wanted to say one. Oh, wait, David.
No, go ahead. I want to make a comment after all the students have spoken.
Okay, so Gogo wanted to say one more thing he forgot to say, so we're going to circle back to him. Go ahead.
Hey, sorry, I just wanted to mention I'm also a trained docent specialist at the LA Zoo with birds. And I've been working with that for a couple of months now.
That's a happy job, fun. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, and David, to all the applicants.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so obviously there are 5 of you running and there are 2 spots. So I'm not great at math, but 3 of you, I am pretty good at math, but 3 of you are not going to end up on the Environmental Commission this year. So I want to just say, for those 3, whoever those 3 end up being, I want to say a couple of things. Number one, if you're not going to be a senior next year, please run again. Number two, but number two, there are a number of other commissions that have student rep positions. So our dear friend Zachary Rossoff, who we've all been talking so kindly about, for those of you who don't know, has a twin brother, and his twin brother couldn't be on the Environmental Commission with him, but fortunately there were other commissions that had spots, and so he's been on one of the other commissions. So I do encourage whoever does not get on to reach out and turn in applications for Park and Rec, Public Safety, Library, Transportation. There's a few of them. So that's it. I just want to put a plug in. There are opportunities to get involved in the city, in addition to the mayor's organization. So I just wanted to encourage everyone to stay active, whether you're with us or not, and definitely stay active with all of our events, whether you're on the commission or not.
Exactly, and you can attend our meetings as well and find out about any subcommittees we have, and you can sit on those, and there's always ways to cost change, so definitely. The way we are, JC, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. To David's point, I did look it up and it looks like the Library Commission is noted as vacant, but again, with everyone sort of matriculating out, there may be others that become vacant. So if you're not on the city notices, keep an eye on that. I just want to say I didn't ask any questions because I think that everyone had it covered, but I do thank you all very impressive young people, and keep up doing what you're doing regardless. And thank you for your very eloquent presentations today. Go ahead, Beth, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'd like to make a motion to select our student member, because we have 2 members, an alternate student member and a student member. So first we'll start with the student member. I'd like to make a motion to do that.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we're great. So you can text me on my personal cell, commissioners, or you can text me privately through the chat who you would like to have. One name, send me one name for student commissioner, student member. And I will tally that up. Forgive the time lapse is going to take. Okay. I'm going to put myself on mute. One second, I'm almost done. Okay. Okay, David, I got yours. Okay. So that is 3. So David, or I mean, Alex, you said to say the numbers of who voted, just not who, but the numbers for each one.
You may do so, or you may just announce who received the highest vote.
Okay, one second. I'm seeing one more text. Okay, so the student member is going to be Lux Hanley. So welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, moving on. I'd like to make a motion to select the alternate student member.
Second that motion.
Thank you. So let's go ahead and send me your alternate student. Okay. Got some of them. Okay, so the alternate student member is Noah. All right, welcome to the team, Noah. Congratulations, guys. I mean, there was a lot. I think it was just a balance of giving more people experience and opportunities here. Okay. I know it was slow. I'm sorry that wasn't the best way to do it. Hopefully it was as fast as possible, but congratulations to those. And then Lila, I mean, thank you for all your time and help, and we've loved working with you. And well, I'm sure you will continue to stay involved and do stuff with us. Yes,
Yeah,
David.
of course. Thank you.
David, go ahead.
I just want to say, if everyone gives me permission, I would like to reach out to all of the student members, because like I mentioned earlier, there are a number of spots available, and I think there are a lot of opportunities available. So I would like to follow up with, the people who were chosen about when, and get them. I'd like Zachary to follow up too and get them to hit the road running, but also the people, whoever's not, I would like people to be involved. So if that's okay.
Yeah, it's what keeps this commission going. It's the lifeline of us. We love community. It seems like everyone wants that action of community networking and outreach. So yes, please, let's all stay connected. Okay, so now we move on to our subcommittee reports. I can start with that. I don't know if Whitney, oh, you are there, Whitney. I was going to give updates on our native plants committee. Are you?
Great.
Yeah. So we've been meeting and we have a document where we continue to share ideas. We have really stalled while we wait to hear back from the city before we really make any motions or plans or suggestions, but we're just gathering ideas right now. And it's nice to hear the overlap from other things that you guys have done that we want to continue to do. Noah, one of the things we really want to do is get some native plant gardens around as well. So that's something we can collaborate on for sure. We talked about maybe doing an Instagram challenge of native gardens, even at home in Calabasas, what people are doing to just share ideas and get the discussions going, to get ideas happening. But we are limited as far as the commission with our Instagram presence. So maybe just through a hashtag or something, we could run that. We talked about, and rock gardens as well with erosion, maybe like Zach did, having kids or Girl Scout troops or someone and some center in our community where we could really use that and place those. So those are some ideas. It's, as of now, the subcommittee is made up of me and Whitney, and then Whitney's husband, Howard, and Abra, who's one of their good friends. So more people can join the subcommittee if you're not a actual commissioner, because we can only have 2 commissioners. But if anyone's interested in being on that, just let us know, email us or text me or anything like that. That's our subcommittee. Other subcommittees, anything to share?
I just wanted to share that I have a new native garden, and we went to the Thomas Paine Foundation, and my garden is every color. It's so gorgeous, and it's just unbelievable that people think you should get your landscaping at Home Depot when you can have the most beautiful native garden. And I'm excited, Beth, for what we're going to provide for the community.
I am excited too. Any other updates? Okay, no hands. So while we're talking about subcommittees, JC, you're still on the SOARS one? No, that ended.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just thinking if there's anything Andy, like if we had any committees, he could join subcommittees.
No, because the last discussion that we had for our special meeting on March 1st was to talk about what could be coming down the line from the city council's work plan. And so based on what happens there, then the subcommittees could be developed from those initiatives. Obviously, we're not meeting again until September.
Yeah,
So
that kind of leaves us with the Pumpkin Festival, which usually the planning comes down to a subcommittee, correct, Alex?
That is correct, yes.
So maybe now would be a good time to get 2 of us on that, so we're not rushing in September or doing something. Okay, so why don't I make a motion to start a subcommittee so we can start planning for the Pumpkin Festival, gathering ideas, getting Zach's ideas before he leaves, because he's been there for the last 3, if not all 4. So I'd like to make a motion to start a Pumpkin Festival planning subcommittee.
I'll second it.
Thanks,
be on it too.
You want to be on it?
You know, that's my thing.
I do love that event as well. Okay, so if JC's on that one, does anyone else want to be on that? We planned it together last time, JC and myself, but if that speaks to anyone else, and new student commissioners, you can be on it as well.
I'm saving myself for water, Beth.
It's all about the water. It's coming. We know it's coming.
I can taste it.
It's, yes, okay. So let me just see this.
As soon as I get that email from Alex, I am going to be so excited.
Okay, I know you will be. Okay, then I will join JC again. I look forward to working with you so much.
Me too.
And knowing what we did last year, making sure we have enough this year. Last year we did, we handed out bird seeds and habitats, like how to make habitats to encourage the birds to.
And this year we won't, hopefully won't have the social distance restrictions that we had, so we can kind of do, you know, something more embracing, you know, with the kids at the table. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Great. So that is like a subcommittee now, and we obviously take ideas from everyone. So
yes,
reach out.
and we also look for help when the time comes. So keep that in mind. So everybody's invited to be a part of it, but the subcommittee will do the planning.
Absolutely. Okay.
Andy has raised his hand.
Andy, I'm sorry, I keep not looking at those hands. Andy, please go ahead.
No problem. This is a question for Alex. Really, I think the city council approved funding for a climate action plan. Is that not accurate?
No, they haven't. They approved $50,000 to initiate hiring a consultant to lay out the plans for a climate action plan. So that was initiated, but not the full scope of climate action plan. That hasn't been developed yet.
So given that the council has moved forward funding, would it be appropriate to have a subcommittee to help with the development of that particular issue?
I'm not sure about that. I can always ask and get back to you whether the city council would require or is desiring to have a subcommittee from the Environmental Commission to participate in development of the scope of work for the future plan. Because the consultant is working to develop the scope of work for another consultant to develop the plan. I'm not sure if this is the right stage, but I can always ask.
Alex, if they do end up supporting a subcommittee, I'd be happy to join Andy on that subcommittee.
Okay, let me find out and get back to I will email the commission as soon as I find out.
So here's my question. Since we don't meet again until September, and I know the mayor's one of the mayor's priorities is really the climate action plan, can we move to and vote on climate action plan subcommittee in the just to and if you do find that it's appropriate, then move forward with that, and if it's not, then we don't?
Absolutely, yes, we can.
And just to gather ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to move that, Beth, please.
I second. Wait, did you say it again, Andy?
I would like to move the creation of a subcommittee to advise on the creation of the proposal, what Alex said for the climate action plan.
A scope of work for the climate action plan, yes.
Scope of work, got it. Okay, I second that. All in favor? Aye.
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 Who wants to be on that committee?
The scope, okay, saw that coming. Okay,
We
so
have
that's
Andy
Andy
and David. Andy
and David. Okay, and I'm here to help too, however you need. Sending whatever, just delegate to me. Okay. David, were you saying something?
Now, I was going to say, I mean, we if there are other commissioners that want to be on it, certainly speak up. I didn't mean to jump in. I'm just excited about this one. So if people are cool with it, I'm happy to be one of the subcommittee chairs, assuming there is a subcommittee.
Great. Good. Okay, so that was our, anything else for subcommittees, guys? Committee reports? And no hands. So we're moving on to 6. Alex, can you update us, please?
Absolutely. I'm sharing my PowerPoint presentation. Do you see it? Do you all see my PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you. I'm just providing a brief update on 2 events that we recently had. The first one was let me see how I can forward it. Okay. The first one is Arbor Day Celebration that we held in March, and we had about, I would say, 150 people attending. This was a great event, was fully supported by the school. They mobilized everybody, and they had a signing sheet, and they had team leaders in different areas that helped with the planting of trees and flowers. They decided to only have 7 trees, but plenty of flowers. So we provided them with supplies, shovels, and equipment to do the work. We provided the trees and plants, and they distributed in the areas that they wanted them to be planted. And as you can see, a lot of families and kids participated, over 150 people. And this was a great turnout and great event. And I'm hoping that they can come back in the future and check the trees that they planted or check the flowers that they planted. Most of them are from the same school, but some from other schools and other areas that they just joined in. So I'm just showing a few pictures. The principal of a school that spoke with council members at the end when we had the official tree planting ceremony. And this was definitely one of the best events that I've ever seen in the past 18 years I have been with the city. So the next event was the Earth Day celebration that we held on April 16th. This was a new location. We held the event on the trail that we completed in 2019. Initially, we wanted to hold this event in 2020, but due to COVID, we had to cancel it. And last year, we didn't have any. So this was a new location and new era for us to hold the event. This is the layout of how we decided to spread the activity along the trail. It was much better than what we had in the past. In the past, we didn't have this location. So this is basically a new location. We wanted to utilize it. The trail was about 10 feet wide. We set up canopies with 4 feet space in between. We learned that we need to make it wider and more spread out. We had a canopy for music band and for people watching the music band. And this was a great event. We had a good turnout. These pictures that I took were from the beginning of the event. At the end or during the event, I didn't have time to take pictures, but I used just the photos that I took in the beginning to show you how the setup was, how it looked like during the event, what it was. Some of you were there and you noticed it was very crowded. And I spoke with one of the sponsors, and around 4 p.m. they told me they had spoken to 252 people and they were out of breath and they were keep drinking water to continue talking to people. So they were very happy with the turnout and the way that people could walk around and talk to each sponsor separately. There was no crowded space and nothing to worry about COVID, and people were just relaxed and walked along. And the parking was right behind the booth, and it was easy. We had easy access, loading and unloading. These are just some images of the music band. Thanks to JC that introduced the music band, and they did a great job, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And we had a truck from Waste Management. Kids were allowed to jump up and go inside the truck and see how it operates. They picked up a lot of food waste recycling containers that people could take home. These are just some other images that I took during the event. And I think we are going to learn from this event and make it more successful next year. With that, I would like to ask Arvin to show us the short PSA that communication department developed for the Earth Day. Arvin, are you ready to show the PSA?
Hi, I'm David J. Shapiro, Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Calabasas, here at our annual Earth Day celebration. It's a tremendous event for the community and especially our youth to see what we can do locally and abroad as far as protecting the environment.
I'm here today with members of the Mayor's Youth Council. This is a group of teenagers that provide advice to me about issues they care about. And the fact that they're here today tells me they care about the environment and voter registration of young adults. So let's meet them. Hi there. Why are you here today?
I'm Nicolo Turango, and I think it's just important that we have civic engagement. People are voting. They can involve themselves in the government.
Awesome. It's your world.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, my name is Chloe Elliott. I'm here because I'm very passionate about voter registration, and especially within young people, like getting the young people of Calabasas registered to vote. And every vote counts. So no matter how many people we get to fill these ballots today, it counts. Every vote counts.
Great job, Chloe.
Hi, I'm Mia Sonnenberg. I'm also here because I think it's really important to register to vote. No matter what country you're in, your vote can always make a difference. And I'm also here because it's really important to protect our environment, and that's what this whole event is.
My name is Sydney Improda. I'm here because I'm passionate about environment and sustainability, and I wanted to be a part of spreading awareness about voter registration.
Great. This is our next generation of voters and those that will carry this earth forward. So thanks a lot for being here.
Filled with booths that have such a wide mix of environmental products for sale and educational opportunities.
Earth Day goes back a long way in Calabasas, and it highlights our commitment to the environment.
We're here across the street from where we've been in years past by the Las Virgenes Creek Restoration Project that we worked on in our city to help beautify and clean our city.
And everyone's having a great time learning about different aspects of the environment.
And it's just great to get so many people out here this weekend talking about the issues that are important to us.
Tremendous day, tremendous opportunity. Happy Earth Day to everybody.
Great. This would conclude my updates on city's event. Thank you.
That is such a happy video. Was the music at the end from the band that was playing?
I don't think so. I think the communication department picked the right music.
Lovely. Lovely. I'm so sorry I missed it.
I think Andy has raised his hand.
Andy, go ahead.
I've always got my hand up. So it looks like a terrific event, Alex. Really, really excellent work. Would you mind? I noticed on some of the tables in the video that there were like the little food waste containers, and I know the city council has asked for more education on food waste, what we do with our food waste. Can you give us a quick update on kind of where the city is with educating Calabasans on the food waste and all of that?
Well, we are working closely with waste management to distribute the containers and educate our residents about the benefits of food waste recycling. In this particular event on Earth Day, we had two different tables, one inside the canopy, under the canopy, and one behind the canopy where the waste management truck was. at both locations, we distributed over 100 food waste containers. So I'm hoping that those people who picked up those free containers will definitely use them and will improve, and they will show it to other friends and neighbors, and they will jump on board and will contribute to our food waste recycling, which is a state mandate. And we are way ahead of neighboring cities that are just getting started. So I think we are doing a good job. I'm hoping that with the public participation, we are going to show good numbers of food waste recycling in our future reports, that this has been a successful campaign and is working. So we are hoping that in the future we can also bring on board our restaurants that are throwing away a lot of food waste. So that's our next step. Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thank you for that presentation, Alex.
Sure. My pleasure.
We're almost done. We are now moving on to the selection of the chair and the vice chair. So I have had the, yes, David?
Oh, no, I was going to make a nomination.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I've had the pleasure of being chair for 2 years in a row now, so I'm excited to pass the torch on and let someone else lead us. And I'm here for support, whoever it ends up with, but let's open it up to nominations.
I would like to, I'll go ahead, and I would like to nominate JC. I think she's done a fantastic job since I've been involved, and I look forward to her leadership. But I also do want to thank you, Beth, for not just a term, but for sticking with it and taking on a second term and helping the commission out during a really tumultuous time with COVID and a lot of turnover. So thank you. You've been fantastic.
Thank you.
Second, both of those.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so JC, do you accept that nomination?
I do, and thank you very much for your votes of confidence. I look forward to it. And Beth, I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for giving me a model to carry forward. So thank you.
You are so sweet. For the discussion about JC being chair, I think being vice chair, she's always been supportive and excited and ready to help. She volunteers for any subcommittee when it can be there. She is dedicated and familiar with all the parliamentary procedures now, and I think she would do a great job as chair.
Thank you.
Do you want to take a vote?
So let's move on to the voting. This one's easier. You don't have to send me the thing. So all in favor of JC being chair, say yay.
Aye.
1, 2, 3. So David,
Can I vote?
You can't. Sorry.
I was going to say, what am I supposed to do? Thank you.
So you are officially, JC is our chair. And Noah, you'll catch on to it as far as voting when we take the votes and all that stuff. We'll walk you through it. Don't worry. Okay, moving on to our vice chair.
I will make a nomination if you want.
Yes, please, JC, go ahead.
I would like to nominate David. He is ready for the task, I believe. So
I second that. Mm-hmm. David, do you accept the nomination?
I do. Thank you.
Now it's open for discussion. I will say with David, he is the reason I'm on the commission at all. He wrote me in and has been passionate and excited. And I think it would be great to have you be vice chair.
Thank
Anything
you.
else for discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor of David being the vice chair, say yay, yay.
Aye.
Hey.
Okay, so that's 3. David, you are our new vice chair. Congrats. And our next meeting will be September 6th, but we can always talk in between, and we will reach out to you, Noah and Lux, and Lila. We will stay connected as well, for sure. And Zachary, we'll talk to you soon. We were talking about that. So with that, we will adjourn, and this concludes the Environmental Commission meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.